Hello, my name is Mai Yang, and this is my presentation for Edu4005 Planning for Targeted Teaching. In this presentation, I'll justify the pedagogical reasoning behind my 3-lesson sequence in oral presentation skills for a Year 6 class. I'll explain how assessment data informed my planning, how evidence-based strategies guided my teaching choices, and how my sequence supports differentiated, inclusive, and measurable learning for all students. Let me make this bigger. Who are my students? My class consists of 19 Year 6 students with diverse readiness levels in oral communication. Diagnostic evidence from my Gutman chart showed 3 clear learning bands in projection, pacing, and audience awareness. The cohort includes several EAL learners, 1 student experiencing presentation anxiety, and a group of students demonstrating advanced oral fluency who need extension challenges. Strengths across this class include collaboration and digital fluency, while key needs center on clarity, confidence, and expressive control. These insights inform my ZPD-based groupings and my adjustments under Universal Design for Learning, UDL CAST 2018. What am I teaching? The construct I'm targeting is oral presentation skills, the ability to plan, deliver, and adapt spoken communication using tone, pace, and gesture to engage an audience. This links directly to the Victorian Curriculum Version 2 English Standards listed on the screen, which ask students to plan, rehearse, and deliver presentations that use tone, pace, and gesture to clarify meaning. VCAA 2023. My construct progression identifies 3 stages: novice, developing, and proficient, mapped using my Gutman data to determine readiness. This ensures instruction begins with each learner's zone of proximal development. Vygotsky 1978, supported by explicit scaffolding and modeling. Learner readiness. Using my Gutman chart data, I identified 3 distinct readiness groups based on patterns in voice projection, pacing, and audience awareness. The first group includes students who are still developing confidence and clarity. They benefit most from direct teacher-guided instruction and modeling. The second group is beginning to show control over tone and pacing. These students thrive when working collaboratively in pairs, where they can rehearse and refine their delivery. The third group demonstrates high level of fluency and expression. The next step is learning to adapt their presentations in real time based on audience feedback and engagement. Grouping students this way ensures that every learner is working within their zone of proximal development, receiving just the right level of challenge and support. Vygotsky 1978. This data-driven grouping was confirmed through peer moderation during assessment 2, which strengthened the validity of my learning progression and ensured my differentiation decisions were evidence-based. Learning goals and formative evidence. Building on these readiness groups, I developed 3 differentiated learning goals, each directly linked to the Victorian Curriculum Version 2 outcomes for oral communication, VCAA 2023. For Group 1, the focus is on clarity and projection. Students practice speaking audibly and evenly to build confidence. Group 2 moves deeper, learning to control pacing and vary tone to emphasize meaning and sustain engagement. Group 3 extends this further by adapting expression and responding dynamically to audience cues, showing real-time communicative awareness. Each goal is paired with a formative evidence source that captures growth as it happens. Group 1 uses a teacher feedback checklist during guided practice. Group 2 engages in peer audio analysis using iPads to identify tone and pacing, and Group 3 completes self-reflection rubrics after each rehearsal to evaluate expressive control. This design ensures that assessment is ongoing, purposeful, and directly linked to learning intentions, what Black and William, 1998, describe as assessment for learning, where feedback informs both teaching and student strategies. These aligned goals and evidence pathways create a clear picture of progress for each group, allowing me to adjust instruction responsively while ensuring every learner moves forward from their current point of understanding. Targeted teaching and differentiation. My 3-lesson sequence was designed using the Understanding by Design framework and follows the gradual release of responsibility model, Fisher and Frey, 2013. Each lesson begins with explicit instruction where I model the key speaking skill for the session, such as clear projection, expressive tone, or audience engagement. After modeling, students transition into differentiated group activities that respond directly to their readiness levels. For Group 1, the focus is on teacher-guided rehearsal. I work closely with these students, modeling breathing and projection strategies and providing immediate verbal feedback. This scaffolding supports their developing confidence and clarity. Group 2 requires less direct support and is encouraged to collaborate in pairs to practice tone variation and pacing. They use scripts and timers to monitor their delivery, strengthening and regulation, and oral fluency. Group 3 consists of more proficient speakers who demonstrate higher levels of expressive control. Their task involves independent performance and peer critique, where they record and review their presentations using iPads, identifying strengths and areas for improvement. This approach is grounded in Rosenshine's 2012 Principles of Instruction, which emphasize modeling, guided practice, and feedback as essential components of mastery learning. It also draws on Tomlinson's 2014 model of differentiation, ensuring that the content, process, and product are adjusted to suit the needs and readiness of each learner. To ensure inclusivity, I have embedded Universal Design for Learning Principles, CAST 2018. Students are given multiple means of engagement and expression. For instance, EAL learners replay audio models to reinforce comprehension, while students with anxiety are offered the option to record privately before presenting to peers. Each group's learning experience was adapted based on both the Gutman data and ongoing formative feedback. This structure allows for explicit scaffolded teaching while maintaining flexibility and autonomy, ensuring every learner is both supported and challenged appropriately. Tracking learner progress. Throughout the sequence, I use formative assessment to monitor progress and inform next steps. In the first lesson, a teacher checklist was used to assess voice clarity and projection. This provided immediate feedback and guided reteaching where needed. In the second lesson, students recorded short presentations on iPads and completed peer evaluations focused on tone and pacing. In the third lesson, students reflected on their final performances using a self-assessment rubric, comparing their initial and final recordings to measure growth. These formative tools are closely aligned with each learning goal, ensuring ongoing feedback that supports both teaching and learning. Black and William, 1998. The final 3-minute oral presentation serves as a summative assessment, using the same rubric criteria for consistency. I will evaluate impact by triangulating rubric data, peer feedback, and student reflection to gain a holistic understanding of progress. As Hattie 2012 notes, feedback and assessment and self-assessment are among the most powerful influences on achievement, which validates my decision to embed reflection and peer critique throughout the sequence. This evidence-driven approach also meets APST 5.4, demonstrating how I use student learning data to evaluate and refine my teaching practice. My planning is grounded in multiple evidence-based frameworks that complement one another. Rosenshine 2012 provided a clear foundation for explicit instruction through modeling and guided practice. Tomlinson 2014 guided my differentiation of content, process, and product to meet each learner's readiness. Cast 2018 supported the application of universal design for learning to create an inclusive environment with flexible access points for all students. Black and William, 1998, reinforced the importance of formative assessment and responsive teaching, while Hattie, 2012, highlighted feedback and self-assessment as high-impact strategies. These frameworks are well established and credible, though I recognize that most are based on large-scale research context. I have adapted them to my specific class of 19 learners, ensuring cultural, linguistic, and emotional relevance. This reflective process demonstrates professional judgment and commitment to continuous improvement, aligning with the expectations of the Australian Professional Standards for Teachers. ChatGPT was used to assist in developing formative assessment activities. All pedagogical reasoning, analysis, and design decisions were completed independently by me. Here are the references. Thank you for listening.